All right, actual design work, onboarding. The worst case scenario when you're doing design work is showing the client your first iteration and they're like, I hate it, start from scratch. Because then you have to start everything all over from scratch. Most of your time was spent in the beginning anyways. So now you're like doubling the amount of work you have to do. You can avoid this problem by communicating things clearly and early right from the get-go, right? There are frameworks out there, there are ways you can ask questions to make sure that you and the client are on the same page. I'm not gonna get super deep into this, but it's out there, just Google it. You also need to be clear about boundaries. They need to understand that even though they're going to be kind of like working alongside, you're going to be having conversations with them. You need to have full creative control over the process, and that they need to trust in you and your abilities. This is a lot easier to do if they already have trust in you from the beginning. So that's why it's so important to work on the foundation and build that trust before you even get to this conversation stage. All right. Research. Let's be honest. You're all really smart, but you don't know everything. So don't pretend like you do. Go out there, study the market, see what other companies are doing, what other designers are doing, what works, what doesn't, why it works, why it doesn't. And then you take these learnings and then you put them into your designs, right? Clients aren't paying you to be original. They're paying you for results. So I have a quick example. Client wants a website. You see that all the trendy websites today have this big picture in the background, big text in the middle, one button in the middle on the bottom. So you want to be unique, right? So you make this, the same thing Emily showed you, right? So original, so unique. If you give this to the client, they'll be so pissed, right? Why? Because this does not work, right? Everyone in the industry uses the same formatting because it works. So don't try to reinvent the wheel. Do your research, make sure your work actually delivers results, all right? The actual work, time is money. Now that you're charging per project instead of per hour, that means that the more time you spend on the project, the less money you're making. This doesn't mean that you should be sloppy with your time, with your work, right? But what it does mean is you should invest in tools and resources that will give you the ability to work faster, right? Let's say you're designing a website and you need super nice illustrations. You can't just use free stuff you find on like Flat Icon anymore, because that's just not good enough, right? Now, you could draw up these illustrations yourself, right? You could spend all this time, or you could pay for pre-made premium illustrations, or you can maybe even like outsource the work to another designer, right? You can't do everything yourself, and you probably shouldn't even try to do everything yourself. And then finally, you got to learn the difference between perfect and good enough. This is a really big problem for me. Sometimes I spend like hours after I'm done designing, going through my work, like super zoomed in, making sure, every pixel is perfect, when nobody is really ever going to see it or even care, right? So do the best you can, but in the end, like 1 or 2 pixels isn't going to make a difference. All right, last thing, templates. Don't waste your time doing repeated work. One time a client wanted a pitch deck for me, so I made, something super pretty, but like the next time someone asks me for a pitch deck, I'm not going to make another one from scratch. I'm going to take that template and put in their content and focus on making sure the content is good, right? The formatting, the right language is used instead of like the design, because that's just busy work. Nobody cares about being different. They just want to have things that work, right? So learn to see patterns in your work, reuse things.